Hey y'all. Okay, so just as promised, I'm going to do a video today about how and when to downsize and get rid of things, and how and when to know if you need better storage solutions. So let's kind of take a look at my closet. So my closet in my studio is probably the most catch-all, cluttery kind of space there is. As you can see, I've got a huge section of my toy collection in here, which I like. I like having in here. I've got all my Care Bears and My Little Ponies and some Ewoks down there. So this is something I like to have on display. So for me, it brings me joy. It takes me back. It's nostalgic, right? Because it's all the things I had as a child, and it's colorful, so I like looking at it. Let me clarify something. So in one of my other videos, I talked about that I would never have a Better Homes and Gardens like cover home. I don't subscribe to the Marie Kondo way of doing things. Not to say that that is wrong. Like I said, I love looking at beautiful homes. My home is never going to be that non-cluttered, beautiful, picturesque magazine house. And I'm okay with that. I know that Marie Kondo subscribes to a different way of doing things. So somebody had said something like, oh, well, what about, this. It's a very different way of looking at things. I agree with some of the things she says, but I also know that, like, this is the way that I live and I'm okay with that, and this is the way I like my space. I like it to be filled with things, but right now it's too filled with things. So I'm here for the people who live like I live and have collections and have things, right? Her idea is kind of like, you make shrines to the things that bring you joy. My whole studio is a shrine, right? It's all the things. So now, how do you know when is too much? So we moved from, I think I've said this before, a 2-car garage place to this new place that has no garage, and my studio is actually smaller here than it was at our old place. So I've downsized a few times. I've done a whole sweep and just got rid of, done another sweep like 6 months later. At this point, I need to do it again because we just don't have the space. So that's part of how you know, right? So let me show you what I mean. How do I know I don't have the space? I still have stuff sitting on the floor here in front of the bookcase, right? Because there is nowhere to put this stuff. I just don't have the space. So that's part of it. I got rid of a ton of crafting stuff that I wasn't using. If you have a craft space and this is kind of where you're at, you're thinking like, how do I get rid of it? What do I do with it? Like, if you haven't used it in a year, you're probably not going to use it. And I know we all think, because we're all crafters or makers and things, right? Like, a lot of us are like, no, but what if I need it down the road? Can you buy another one? Have you used it in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? If not, get rid of it, right? Get rid of it. It's not holding any sentimental value. You don't have a project you're working on right this minute for it. If you're like, oh, I'll get to that. If you haven't gotten to it in a couple of years, you're not going to get to it now. Get rid of it, let someone else use it, enjoy it, and they'll get to their projects. And then down the road, you can always do something later, right? You can find something similar, you can do something different, right? Like, I had this big box of like wooden skeletons I've been hanging on to because I really wanted to paint for Halloween, because I painted for a few at one Halloween and they were great, but I haven't gotten back to it. And I've had them for like 8 years, 5 years, I don't even know, a long time. Guess what? Those went because I didn't have space for them. Someone else will get joy out of them. You can donate to your local thrift store. You could also probably donate to your local library, because they do kids weekend stuff where they'll do reading and they'll do craft time. See if the library wants it. That's always a good one, and it's great because then somebody else gets to craft with it and it won't just get chucked, because sometimes at the thrift store they don't sell the stuff you bring them. So okay, so it depends where you go. So I know that I need more space. I need to downsize, and I need better storage solutions. So I know I need to downsize because I'm bursting at the seams with stuff, right? So if you look here in the corner, I have a huge roll of batting, or Thinsulate, and I've got big rolls of batting and a bag of stuff. Like, it's just a pile in the corner there. So that is too much stuff. Like, it's there and it's here and it's whatever. Those can go under my desk. I'm not using the space under my drafting table on one side. Get these big bulky things out of here that I don't use as often, that won't bother me under the desk, and then put some of the stuff from the floor into that shelf. Be smarter about your space. Okay, let me show you this side. So same thing over here. I have unutilized space. This is probably about 18 inches, maybe 2 feet, foot and a half to it. I don't know, something like that. And it's as tall as the bookcases, which is probably about 3 feet. So that is all wasted space in there because there's no storage. toy down. We'll fix them later. But I have big rolls of vinyl stored in there. But the vinyl could be lining the wall in a big flat row, and there still could be a shelf here, right? So that is not, the space is not utilized as best as it could be. These are just bookcases. One was a hand-me-down, one's from a thrift store, I think. So, and they're okay, they do the job, but I could have better storage solutions in here that would help me get some of this space in the corner used, right? Also, we hung up an extra shelf in here so I'd have one more row for toys because I have so many. I opted to get one with drawers so that way there would be more storage space, right? Be smart with your space. Don't just hang up a shelf if you need more space. I've got drawers and it's just short enough that I can get into it and look in it, right? Then I look up here and I go, okay, what can I get rid of? So first off, think of things that you aren't attached to, right? It doesn't have sentimental value. It's not really bringing you joy. I know Marie Kondo says that, like, right, hold on to something and like actually see if it really brings you joy, which is kind of true. So for example, this guy right here. Okay, let me grab this guy without killing all of my other toys. So this little bear is so cute. Look at it. It's so cute. But where did it come from? I don't know. I think I got it when I bought a bunch of like cards, you know, you get 3 and you get like a free stuffy or whatever. And I got a couple because I bought a whole bunch of cards at one point and I gave one to my niece and then I kept one for myself. I think I remember that now. That's coming back to me. But it doesn't have any sentimental value. It's just adorable, but he's taking up a lot. Look at this thing. He's as big as my head. He's taking up a ton of real estate. So he's got to go. Right? So this is easy to do. Look at stuff like that. Like if you look down here, my other brother, Chris, sent me this sweet Ewok mug. Why is it still in the box? I don't know. Open the darn thing. Then it would take up so much less space. I could actually open him and then I have a bunch of Ewok stuffies. I could put an Ewok stuffy in it and put it on the shelf in my pile of Ewoks so it's all together. And then by putting one of the stuffies in there, it takes up less space because they're not two separate things. It's like one thing inside of another thing, right? So I need to open that. So I'm going to put that on my chair. Okay, this, by the way. So I've got a jar in here. Round containers are the worst storage container you could ever ask for. Don't go round. The only reason I have this one in here is because when my dad passed away, I found this in his stuff. It was already filled with toys, so I just took it and I've kept it that way. But you don't want any kind of round container unless it's on your desk and it's holding a pencil set. Round is awful because you can't stack it. It's a waste of space on the edges where the corners come together, right? Look at that. You got a bunch of wasted space in there. So whatever you do, don't do round. Get square, get rectangle, get stuff that can stack, you want to play Tetris with it and you want it to be like boom, boom, boom. So it's the most efficient use of space. Something I have going on here that's not useful is this is all loose paper, magazines, mailers, right? So it's a bunch of stuff that could probably have a better home. Like right here, there's a bunch of drawings. I think I stuck them here because I didn't have a big flat space to put them, but I do now. I have a flat box over there that I have drawings in. Put them where they go, right? Come up with a system of where stuff would better be utilized, right? That's why I said this stuff, the big batting and stuff can go under my desk. I sew over there anyway. Why is it here? Because I didn't have room. Well, now there's room. Move it, okay? So downsizing, definitely need to do that, right? I need to get rid of some more fabric, so I'm going to do that because these are piles of fabric projects stored out here. I want all my fabric stuff in the same cabinet. I don't want it here, 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 right? I want it in one place. So I have a bunch of stuff in there that I'm not using. For example, I have a bunch of quilt tops for baby blankets. I didn't really make my son any blankets. I made him all kinds of other stuff, but I've got so many in there. I'll never make that many blankets, and by the time I do, he'll be like 15 years old, and he'll be like, why do I have a baby blanket, Mom? So I'm going to call my mom back and say, hey, do you want some of these? Because I got them from her. And then I'll probably give some away, donate, and I'll probably keep a couple in case my friends have babies and I want to make quilts. So maybe I'll keep like 2 kind of foo-foo ones and 2 kind of manly ones. I don't know. Girls can have manly ones too. And guys can have foo-foo ones. Doesn't matter. But you know what I mean. I'll keep like 2 pink ones and 2 blue ones in case my friend has a preference. So that's it. Get rid of things that you're not using, right? Get rid of whatever. And really think about, have I used this in a year? If you haven't used it in a year, use it or get rid of it, right? And if you haven't used it in 2 or more, it's got to go. You're not using it. You're not going to use it. You keep telling yourself you will, but you're not. How do I know? Because I do the same thing. I always have all these projects. I'm like, I'm going to get to it. And then I never get to it. Okay. So I've got to take care of this, right? I've got to go through it, get rid of, purge again. What am I really not using? And then find a place to sell it or donate it, right? Or give it away to friends who would actually use it right now, right? Don't give it to your friend who also has the same clutter problem as you, because then they're just going to have more of a mess at their house, right? Because I have friends who will do that, who will give me stuff. I'm like, yeah, sure. And then I'm like, cool. And then I get home and I'm like, oh my God, where am I going to put this? Okay. And then some of these storage things I need. So if we look up here onto my top shelf, right? The top shelf is probably one of the tallest shelves because I have things like this. I have this feather headdress I made and it takes up a really big amount of space. That's the only place I have to store it. This is great. I've got my doll house, which I'm debating if I'm going to get rid of because it is so big. But I've also got She-Ra Castle. Guess what? That ain't going nowhere because that's my She-Ra Castle. And it's amazing. So I need that space on this shelf for that. But if I got rid of the dollhouse, which I don't know if I can do because I love it, but that would free up a lot of space. So I'm debating because again, what are my priorities? Like I need space to store stuff for shows, stuff for crafting, the things that I really love. I don't play with the dollhouse. I thought it would be a project where I could repaint it, but we'll see. So that's it really. Think smart. Like here's one more thing I can get rid of. This is a super cute, teeny tiny little origami set my husband got me for Christmas. It was in my stocking last year. Guess what? That was last Christmas. I haven't used it. It's adorable. I love doing origami, but I'm not going to use it. So let's get rid of it. He's not going to be upset about it. He's going to be like, cool, get rid of this stuff, right? He thought it was cute. I would do it. But guess what? I could also give it to my nephew who loves origami, right? Then he gets to play with it. It didn't go to waste. Whatever, right? Boom, get that out of here. So, and those are the small things. Those are the small things you have to decide. Like, I can get rid of a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here. Get better storage containers, right? Like right now, this is just a glob of stuff. There isn't really good storage here, like in my other shelf. So you've seen these before. If you haven't, this is what the rest of it looks like, right? It's super neat, super organized. You know, everything is in nice, neat boxes, labeled, easy to get to. That's what this closet should look like underneath the toy collection, right? So underneath the toy collection, which is fine the way it is, this has to get some help. And so that's what I'm going to work on. I'm going to get rid of some things. I'm going to figure out maybe some more storage solutions. I don't have the money right now to buy containers, but I can redo this and make it neater and fit some more stuff in here, especially by moving these big bulk items out. That's a huge win right there in my closet. So that's it for today, right? If you haven't used it, you're not using it, get rid of it. If you've got stuff overflowing onto the floor or everywhere else, you need to downsize, right? You need to get rid of some things. If you have stuff just in boxes sitting around, go through it, get rid of it. How long has it been there? Get rid of this stuff. You'll feel good. You'll feel good about it because you will have more space to do those things, right? If you really love something, it's okay to keep it, but you better have a place to put it, okay? And then storage solutions. Be smart, right? Utilize the space better. I got drawers so I could have a shelf with drawers for space. Come up with like, hey, there's a big gap over here. I need some shelves because I need more space. Figure out something that will fit. And these, by the way, these are from IKEA. If you didn't notice, I shop at IKEA a lot. That's because stuff there is inexpensive. It's really modular. It's easy to use with all the other products. They're easy to put together and install. I love IKEA. So that's my non-paid plug. IKEA. All right, guys. That's it. If you have questions, please send me a message. I'm here to help. If you're like, hey, I don't know what to do with XYZ, ask me. See if I can help. I may not know all the answers because I'm not, a guru, but I do this, and you saw my other cabinets. I do know how to do this stuff. That's why I'm trying to share with you, because I'd like you to feel better about your space, right? Have less clutter, feel more joy, love the things you want to look at, get rid of the stuff you don't want to look at, or figure out how to manage it, okay? So that's it for today. I will see you next week. I don't know what I'm going to do a video on next week. Send me some suggestions, okay? I'll talk to you guys later.